All right, ladies and gentlemen. So we're gonna make a video, or someone was asking me to make a video on the pirate software drama thing. Literally, the comments like right here. So you got. I'm like, all right, fine. So I've watched all the videos on the subject. I watched Asmongold's, or listened to while playing the game. Right, I listened to Asmongold's take on it. I listened to Soda's take on it. Didn't really like Soda's take on it. He was awfully dismissive. Probably just pissed off and like stressed out. Doesn't really care that much type deal. Um, Zaryu's and Zico's and a bunch of other people's takes on the subject. Grubbies' take on the subject is by far the best, in my personal opinion. He's basically just sitting there being a consummate professional that he is. And he both has like an experienced WoW player's perspective and a new WoW player's perspective all at the same time. I'm sitting here, and the only reason I'm even remotely making this video is I'm trying to ask myself: is there anything I can say or bring up on the subject to add to the discussion? Otherwise, why the hell would I even bother? What's the point of even making a video? Type deal. That's how my brain works, at least. Hopefully, we've all seen the clips like a million times at this point. What Pirate Software did, what he said, what he didn't say. Blah 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 blah. The truth of the matter is that a lot of people are at fault, if you want to think of it that way. There's no way to frame the conversation without being incorrect. So if I frame the conversation in such a way where it's like it's everybody's fault, that's incorrect. If I frame the conversation in a way where it's Pirate Software's fault or it's the leader's fault, that is also incorrect. It's kind of best just to list off, and that's exactly what Grubby does, to list off everyone's mistakes and where they made them. But in my assessment, by far the biggest mistake was in leadership and group management. Is that gold? It is gold. Leadership and group management. If you're wondering what the hell I'm doing out here, I'm trying to sneak my way back to Maradon so I can get the amulet for the first part of the quest of what's it called? The Mark of the Chosen trinket. It is, however, Phase 2. This is on the PvP server. It's basically Phase 2 in the PvP server, so expect me to die a few times to some horde out here. But we're just hoping that we can go and ninja this quest out, because server time is getting kind of late. And I figured I'd make a video while we're at it at the same time. Make sure we're recording here. We are. Okay, so biggest thing, in my opinion, is group leadership, like, where they actually failed type of a deal. And the reason why I really want to bring up the group leadership failure, Tyler One and others would call it a vibe failure, if you want to put it that way, is because I think it really colors and dictates Pirates' decision-making in the group, okay, if that makes any sense. So when you're doing a group in hardcore World of Warcraft, or even in classic WoW in general, you really want to spend like the first few polls of your dungeon group to like get a feel for the players that you're playing with, especially if you don't know them or haven't played with them a bunch, which is exactly what was happening in the Pirate Software group situation, right? They're all only Fangs members, but they're only Fangs members that don't really play with each other all that often. Every guild has their cliques, and every guild has people that they enjoy talking to, people they can stand to play with, people they can't stand to play with, people whose attitudes they mind or don't mind. You guys can imagine my fucking attitude. You better believe that I'm painfully aware of that scenario. I actually have pretty good attitudes in groups, but just as a person talking in general, a lot of people can't handle or stand my bluntness, I guess we could say. My forthcomingness and my bluntness. Right, so you got to get a feel for the people who you are in the group with. Yeah, that's why I thought these mobs are yellow. Got to get a feel for the what? One sec here. Perfect. And I think, for the record, I'm just recovering from being sick. That's why I haven't made a bunch of videos. Otherwise, I'd literally become the Hawk Tuah girl. And I gotta remember to drink water here. And drink some damn water. Okay, so. In classic World of Warcraft, like how do I want to cover this exactly? In classic World of Warcraft, you want to spend some time getting a feel for the people who are in your party, especially in hardcore. You want to get a feel for how skilled are they, like how quick are they going to be to roach out, that sort of stuff. In hardcore especially, you don't want to be like super antagonistic towards people. You don't want to be antagonistic towards your group members in general in classic World of Warcraft, but you definitely don't want to be antagonistic towards people you don't know in hardcore classic World of Warcraft, because if you fail to endear yourself to them when you're in the group, if anything goes bad, they're far, far, far less inclined to turn around and try to save you, to put their own character at risk. It is a mistake in general to assume that people are going to be like that anyways. So, for example, if you call for running out of the dungeon or anything like that, you got to assume people are just going to basically abandon each other, every man for themselves, and they're just going to like leave you to die there, if that makes any sense. You got to assume the worst case scenario. You can't be assuming the best case scenario. Do I need to help that guy? Doesn't look like it. Is my TLDR there? They basically failed at all of that from a group leadership perspective. So, for example, they did a dungeon run of Dire Maul North before the incident where people got killed, and the vibes were like super off. People weren't getting along, you know, blah 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 blah. And then they decided to do it again. Well, at some point, you have to be, like, mentally aware that if shit goes south, these people who I'm not getting along with, they have little to no inclination to, like, stick around and try to, you know, save my butt, if that makes anything, if that makes any sense. On top of that, the calls in the dungeon were absolutely atrocious. Pirate Software probably can't really say this, so I'll fucking say it for him. The calls for like when to run, when to stand your ground and fight, when to heal were fucking atrocious. They were garbage. And if you're someone like Pirate Software who is clearly knowledgeable, he's like me, right? He's super knowledgeable at the game, but he's not necessarily the best at pushing the buttons. You're going to notice really fucking fast that the calls in the dungeon are dog shit. And you're literally not, you're going to listen to the good calls and you're going to ignore the bad calls. So, in my opinion, Pirate Software did that correctly. Their call to run when they should have stood and fight was really, really bad. Literally what they should have done, what they should have done, and this is my opinion of all hardcore dungeons. Keep in mind, I've only done like a handful of hardcore dungeons in my entire life at this point, right? But when it comes to hardcore dungeons, you definitely want to go in there with more than one class that can heal. So they had a druid there, and they had a priest healing, which in my opinion makes them a really good dungeon group, and they also have a mage as well, right? So this is a completely viable hardcore tanking dungeon group, in my opinion. The reason why we want to have more than one class that can heal is so that when shit goes south, all the people who can heal have to do to salvage a situation is just heal. So all they had to do to salvage that situation at the beginning was literally just not run away. Just tell the druid, hey, druid, can you heal for this fight because shit is going to get real? Have your druid, you know, come out of cat form and do his best to help with the healing. CC the mobs that can be CC'd as best as you can. Focus everything except the boss, and everything would have been fine, right? Everything would have absolutely been fine. But instead, we call for a run, which is okay. Now, the run call was also fine. Everyone would have made it out just fine from a run call. With a run call, Pirate probably should have gotten in there and tried to snare the mobs. But it's also perfectly just fine, because they were talking about target dummying, right? It's also perfectly fine for them to, like, target dummy and just, like, you know, run their butt out. Don't need Pirate software to do anything. Right, so a run call is fine. A stand your ground call is also fine. But a turn your ass around and let's fight here, this situation is salvageable call is really bad. At that point, Pirate software is actually kind of correct to realize that the calls are really bad at this point, and just kind of stick with the running call if that makes any sense. This is from a purely leadership perspective, right? If you had a really good mage, like a really good, really experienced mage, a really good, really experienced mage would have ignored the call to run. Listen to the words coming out of my fucking mouth here right now. A really good mage would have ignored the call to run and actually stuck around and let spirit regenerate on their character to see what they could do, because they would recognize the situation and the call to run is actually kind of bad, if that makes any sense. Those mobs do charge and can actually do terrible things to a mage. What else is there to say? I got to get to a safe area here and blather away for a hot second. What I'm really trying to say here is this. There are two different kinds of mage players, right? There's the mage player that when you say run is like, yo, dog, okay, I'm out. You know, I'm going to turn around, I'm going to blink. Maybe I'll, you know, do some rank 1 blizzarding at max range to help slow the mobs, but I'm getting the hell out of there, okay? There's that type of mage. Then there's the other type of mage that when you give them the call to run, they're going to stay as close to the group as possible. They're going to do some frost novas. They're going to do whatever they can to try to get the entire group out. They're going to try to, like, move away as a group. The mobs in that situation make that a little bit more difficult. They have the stupid charge mechanics. There's a boss involved. The boss can't really be CC'd. I think some of them have like an AoE fear ability, but I could be wrong. I can't remember which boss they pulled. But one mage will do X and the other mage will do Y. In Pirate Software's case, he did a little bit of both, right? He did the running thing. He did the actually he did the secondary thing. He did the running and the blizzarding and all that stuff. But what really screwed the group over was the call to go back in. You know, heal me, heal me, heal me. To reinitiate on the pack of mobs. It's just like at that point, someone's gonna die. Like someone has to be sacrificed. Yeah. So. In my opinion, okay, the first point of failure was leadership. We failed to recognize that Pirate Software would be a guy who would, you know, probably, if things go really bad, we're going to run out. If there's a call to run, he's gonna run. If there's a call to go back in after a call to run, he's not going to do that. I think that was actually correct. If they made a call to stand your ground and fight, I guarantee you Pirate Software would have stood his ground and fought. But they made a call to run, so he went with that. Everything beyond that point, I can't really blame Pirate for all that much. Like, a really good, experienced mage would be comfortable standing a lot closer to that pack. But the safe, correct thing to do for hardcore is also to range the mobs as much as possible and to rank 1 Blizzard. I think his blinking all over the place was a really bad call on his part. It wastes so much fucking mana for a mage to blink. Holy fucking crap. When you're fighting mages in PvP, we're actually trying to get them to blink all the time. As a paladin, we're throwing our Hodge stuns for no other reason than to get them to blink, because blinking for a mage is like 10% of their mana bar. So the blinks are really bad. He should have just been rank 1 Blizzard spamming and running away, and rank 1 Blizzard spamming and running away. But again, he's got to stay really fucking far away from those mobs because they have charge. There's a bunch of things that he could have done better. But the number one point of failure was the call to just not stand their ground and fight. Easily stand your ground and fight. Make sure that the warrior has a shield on. Yeah, that boss hits really fucking hard. But if the druid heals, they're going to be perfectly fine. They can easily CC the rest of the mobs. Kill the dogs. They're pretty easy to kill. You know, blah 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 blah. But Dire Mall North is not a place you want to fuck around in, like at all. Dire Mall North is one of the scariest fucking dungeons in the entire game, as far as your character being there, blink, and it will get deleted out of existence. What do I think about all this? I think the group leadership made a bad call. I think Pirate Software was correct in following the quote-unquote bad call, because the call to run is perfectly fine, right? Run, let's get the hell out of here, target dummy, let's dip, right? Perfectly fine. You can rank 1 Blizzard spam that, you know, also perfectly fine. He did turn around to do multiple Blizzards. The call to go back in, Pirate Software ignoring that, was also 100% correct on his end. Because a call to run is fine, a call to stand and fight is fine, but doing both of those back to back is really, really bad. So it's kind of like all of his actions after they called to run, in my book, were technically correct. Because from his perspective and what he can see about the situation, and what he knows from his game experience about the situation, going back in is a bad idea, right? We either stand our ground and fight, or we run. Pick one. The choice was picked at the beginning. Going back in is a mistake. In fact, how do I put this? The priest going back in is what caused the priest to die, right? If someone had just sacrificed themselves, like, you know, just let the warrior die, that's perfectly fine. If we don't want the warrior to die because the warrior is valuable for whatever reason, the priest sacrificing themselves is perfectly fine. The druid sacrificing themselves is perfectly fine. At some point in that situation, if we're not standing and fighting, someone's going to die. Period, end of story, someone's going to die there. And the situation just keeps getting worse, right? We pull a pack of mobs. We accidentally pull the boss because we're stupid. Then we jump into another pack of mobs because you can't fix stupid, and it's just all downhill from there. What do I want to say about this? Okay, all right. So that's the tactical situation in my book. Now let's talk about the attitude situation. Pirate Software is a programmer. Guess what programmers are famous for? Oh, he's not just a programmer, he's also a streamer. So, oh God. So, programmers are actually quite famous for having, like, really, really bad social skills. If you don't know that about programmers, then GG's. They're really, really bad with their social skills. Streamers also, like, customize their personality to try to, like, you know, drum up as much interest and drama and rage baiting and stuff as much as possible. Like that's something they're rewarded for, not punished for. So when you put certain personalities together in a group, so such as I can't remember who the leadership was, Yamato, I think. If you put certain personalities in the same group, they're going to friction off each other pretty hard. And Yamato and Pirate were definitely frictioning off each other pretty hard in that group. And very quickly, from both the previous run and the current run, they started taking kind of an asshole adversarial relationship with each other. I'll say this in the subject. It is one thing if I'm watching a group and everyone in the group is being like, you know, everyone is being sociable and understanding and not, you know, flaming anybody, not being antagonistic, you know, that sort of thing. And then one guy is somehow being an antagonistic fucking asshole for whatever reason, I'm going to say that guy is a dumbass. However, if I'm in a situation where it's like, where it's multiple assholes basically bouncing off each other, which is what we had in that group's situation, right? Pirate Software was being a fucking asshole. Yamato was being a fucking asshole. I'm going to be like, okay, well, whoever started it is at fault, but it doesn't really matter. And it's not really like the situation is really bad, let's stop being assholes to each other. That's not really how testosterone works. So if you're a girl, maybe that makes sense to you, but for us boys, that doesn't make any fucking sense. It's not like, oh, shit is going bad, Yamato should suddenly get civil. Shit is going bad, Pirate Software should suddenly get civil. Their conversations during the course of the situation were actually reasonably civil. The tone wasn't civil, but the actual words coming out of each other's mouth and flowing back and forth were perfectly fine. Right? Perfectly fine. Bro, I don't have mana. I don't know what you want me to do. Like, can you do some, like, rank 1 Novas? What the hell? Everything is perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Perfectly civil. Highly stressful situation. Can't really blame anyone for that whatsoever. Pirate Software saying he did nothing wrong. Did he say he didn't do anything wrong? Okay, so Pirate Software's take... whoa, hello. Pirate Software's take on the subject was that it was a bad poll. We really should have... that's on you. I didn't do anything wrong type of a deal. Considering his skill level and his comfortability with the group, I tend to agree. If that makes any sense. Because, again, as the leadership of a group, you gotta assess the quality of the players that you are with. Like, what are their skill levels? How committed are they to riding or dying with this group? Blah, 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 blah. The shot caller, for whatever reason, Yamato expected the mage to stick it out. Which is horrifying. Like, what are we doing? By the way, I'm going to get super killed here pretty quickly by these horde scum. So just prepare for it. It's going to happen. All right, we got to find this elite guy really fast here. But we're definitely going to pull some mobs, and I just got to hide somewhere. Yeah, this is gonna get fucking ugly. This is gonna get fugly. Come back here. It's gonna get real fucking ugly. Ah! All right, I'll just keep talking. It's no big deal here. Let's get our buff up. No big deal. Nothing to see here. Right. So, first point of failure, of course, is you don't really understand the nature of the animal that you're dealing with there. You've been antagonizing the nature of the animal that you're dealing with here. Like, what the fuck? Running was a good call. The going back in was a bad call. I don't really see where Pirate Software's mistake is. I think I ran by that mob that I needed. Yeah, but anyways, I'm just not really seeing Pirate Software's mistake there. Or is it you? Is it this guy? Yeah, so, oh my god. You're just not going to fuck off, are you? Okay, that's cute. Curse of Blood. What? Physical damage taken is increased by 1 billion? Excuse me, sir? You guys almost want to die? There's some Horde here. That's cute. Horde, can you kill me and take this buff off me? That'd be nice. Holy crap. What was that? Oh. Yeah, okay, we got him. Okay. I was wondering what the hell is going on here. Okay, we got him, but we don't really want to tank him where the Horde can find us. I'm just going to have to use everything not to die here. I need to kill the other mobs. We can't have that Curse of Blood and these other mobs beating the crap out of me at the same time. We're definitely using LOH here. Definitely going to try to survive as long as we can. I got to focus up. Give me a hot sec. I'm going to do that. Did I get earth-shocked by this mob, or did I get earth-shocked by Horde? Whatever. Sorry, I really got to focus up here. I should have used a mana pot, I think, but we'll just pally time it out. Not that big of a deal. Yeah, so, god damn it, I hate that debuff. I think Now, I'm okay. So, in Yamato's defense, okay, I think when he was making his calls, he was under the impression that this mage was like a ride or die only Fangs mage, the type of mage that he's basically used to playing with, right? So that if shit goes south, you know, the mage is going to stick really close to us. He's going to Nova things, like, you know, this is his idea how mages play. But that's only how really good, experienced mages play, right? That's not how all mages play. That's not how all paladins play. That's just not how people play. And in my assessment, that's just kind of his mistake. Definitely LOHing here. Oof, hell yeah. All right, let's get some damage going, just in case the damn horde show up. We got Bop if we need it. All attributes reduced by 15. That's disgusting. I'm just gonna let my mana regenerate. Yeah, so he's thinking tactically that this mage is going to be doing all the stuff that he's seen really good mages do before. When Yamato is usually playing with Tyler 1, he's playing with fellow... Tyler 1 goes into dungeons with some really good players. And rightly so. You don't want to go... If you're a noob, you don't want to be going into dungeons, or a dumbass like Soda. You don't want to be going into dungeons with people who aren't absolutely amazeballs. What in the... Hello? I mean, that's very nice of you, but you gonna blind me? Because I don't think I can... What? Our boy can't find his blind. That's cute. Listen, you're gonna be here forever, my dude. Did he do the thing again? Oh, I got no mana. That's cute. Oh, he told them to F off because they're busy. That's funny. I got this debuff on me, so there's like, if the rogue kills me, I'm just gone, right? Alright, we'll log out right here. Because we need to find these stupid, whatchamacallits. Cons, anyways. I gotta get these cons. I really want this trinket. I don't care if the horde killed me a million times. Yeah, but Grubby had the best take in the video, personally, in my opinion. Right, so... If your perspective is that pirate software should be like a top-tier mage and play like a top-tier mage, from that perspective, pirate software is he's a terrible mage player. He's a dumbass. His attitude is terrible, blah, blah, blah. All that stuff lines up. But if you start looking at it from a perspective of he's clearly not confident enough to go in there as a mage, I don't even think pirate software mains mage in classic World of Warcraft. Based upon how he plays, he doesn't main mage in my assessment. What would I have done as a mage player in that situation? I would have saved my mana and spirit regenerated and not blink all over the place like a dumbass. And I would have thrown as many rank 1 blizzards from as far away as I could, as humanly possible. But you better fucking believe I'm not going back in there again. Now, you called for a run. I know what that means. I'm not confident enough as a mage player to be up close and personal while we're running it out. So instead, I'm going to do the long range mage run the hell away thing. Let's mute Grubby here really fast. Yeah, I'm just going to play at like max distance. And I'm going to do some rank 1 blizzards. I think he does the blizzard like right here. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I wouldn't be wasting my mana blinking. I'd be worshipping a little bit more at the altar of spirit regeneration. I know... Oh, fuck. What the hell, bro? Okay. Now, here's where I'm going to talk some fucking shit. Okay, you see how fast this guy is moving? Okay. I PvP way too much in Classic WoW. Our boy here does not have movement speed enchant on his boots. He's an enchanter without movement speed. What the fuck are you doing? Get movement speed enchant on your goddamn boots. Okay, so without movement speed enchant on his boots, his blinking to get the hell out of the dungeon makes a hell of a lot more sense. Guarantee you, this is basic bitch movement speed. Blinking effectively increases a mage's movement speed by 20%, if I recall correctly. So if you're blinking on cooldown, your movement speed is effectively increased by 20%. The movement speed on the boots will increase it by 8%. The movement speed on the boots is a really fucking big deal because it'll help you run for your goddamn life. And it buys you the time you need to really help your allies. But without movement speed on the boots, suddenly we actually have to do blink to get the hell out of here. I can't believe we don't have movement speed on the boots, man. That is objectively terrifying. He's really scared because the mobs have charge. He tried to root the boss. That was actually a bad blizzard, to be perfectly honest with you. Because he should have blizzarded. He should have assumed that, yeah, right here. We should assume that we can't blizzard this goddamn boss. So instead, we should blizzard in such a way. He's probably going to target it right on the fucking... Yeah, he targets it right in front of the boss. Like, what the hell is this shit? Yeah, he should have targeted it in such a way that it's barely hitting the boss just to see if we can do anything about the boss. But really, we want to slow this pack of mobs over here, to be perfectly honest with us. But the end of the day, this is pure... This is a player who's not good at mage. Right? Like, I don't know what to tell you. So, who do I blame at the end of the day? Do I blame the guy who is clearly not good at playing his class? Or do I blame the guy who's somehow leading a group, asking a mage to do shit he should know the mage is not skill-based or mentally willing to do? Like, who the fuck do I blame at that point? The answer is I'm going to blame leadership. I'm going to blame, like, what? You do not go into dungeons in classic World of Warcraft without assessing what you can expect from your teammates. And as a tank, you fucking pull accordingly. Okay, so I did a ZF the other day with a mage. I did a ZF run the other day with a mage that literally had his blizzard rooted the mobs in place. Like, had a chance to root the mobs in place. This is awful. Nobody ever does this because we had other melee in the group. Because normally I can pull a giant pack of mobs together, and then I can put consecrations down, and I can run around in like a circle and take greatly reduced mitigated damage because of the slow with the blizzard, right? But if it's randomly rooting them in place and there's other melee classes in the group, suddenly I have to face tank all that shit because the moment I step back from the rooted mobs, they're all going to target the other melee classes. So suddenly I have to pull smaller groups of the mobs. I asked the mage if he has like a spec that doesn't have that. He says he doesn't, so I just start pulling smaller packs of mobs to deal with the situation. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, right? But you got to assess the skill level of your fucking players. I've had a lot of mages that I'll tank for as a paladin who they're really nervous about the aggro, and so they're like, frost bolting and stuff, that they're not actually AoEing, and I literally have to tell them, no. I want you to do your goddamnedest with your AoE to rip aggro off me. It's not going to happen. And I'll make a video here doing like a ZF run showing that I have yet to meet the mages that can actually rip aggro off of this Stamina Spirit Paladin, and I'll talk about why. But you got to assess. You got to assess the skill level of your players. And for this main reason, I'm putting most of the blame on leadership and almost no blame on Pirate Software. Pirate Software's attitude is bad. Like, okay, that's fine. That's true in isolation, but if you look at the way Yamato is talking to him, the way Yamato is treating him, what he's expecting him to do, the fact that Yamato is making bad calls or good calls followed up by bad calls, and then Pirate Software is following the good call but ignoring the bad calls. I'm gonna put all the fucking blame on leadership. Like, I'm going all in with my chips on blaming leadership here. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that. Now, Pirate Software says, yeah, there's totally things I could have done better, which I think is what he already said. I'm perfectly fine with that, but you can't talk to certain players that way in-game and then expect them to play outside their comfort level and risk their life to save other people in the group. No, fuck you. that's basically just my take on it. Anyways, I'm gonna go try to make some other videos, and I'll end the video here. And Deus Volt.